What a better title for a message on Mother's Day than to talk about a mother's love. Sometimes I wonder, God, before the world began, in His infinite plan, designing mankind. And when He decided to create man, and you know the story in the garden, right? He created man, and He said it is not good. I mean, everything else, you know, He created this, He created that, and then He says, it was good, right? Then He came to man, He said something about man that it is not good for man to be alone, right? And it's not because He made an oops and says, well, just having one is not good enough. But in His plan, He created woman, motherhood, knowing that what the results of motherhood was going to bring forth. That eventually, down to Jesus, who would bring forth peace on earth and goodwill to men. And so when I contemplate on God's plan, His infinite plan, what was His intention on creating a woman and the way He made her? And we know that men and women are different. They have different characteristics. But what I believe is in His design, He was showing us what His love is really all about. Now, some of you may not have grown up with parents that had a good role model of God's love. And don't blame your mother for that, because your mother would have had her circumstances in life. And those of us who are in celebratory recovery understand that we cannot blame anybody for the problems that we have to realize that each person is responsible for their own life, and that we can put away all that baggage of discord that you might have had in those relationships. And that you can actually be free from the things that maybe people have done to you, to the point where you are who you are today. And when we can learn to forgive, just like the Father has forgiven us, then we can truly be free. And so when I think about the mother's love, I decided I'd go on in the internet and try and find something about a mother's love. There is a tradition that has been carried out through many years, and I don't know where this tradition actually started, but usually we give carnations to mothers. When I went to the store, they didn't have any carnations. They had some, but they were really small, so they said, I asked if they had roses. So I would like to give you mothers, actually, we have enough for whether you are a mother or not, because just by nature, you have that love of the Father. And so I left them in the water, and I don't want to give them to you now so they can stay hydrated. But be sure to grab a rose before you leave, women. But the thing is, I keep on forgetting which is which. Because one is if your mother is still alive, and one is if your mother has passed away. Does anybody know? Seems like a florist would know these things, but I don't know, I guess in my old age, I'm starting to get forgetful for some reason. But here's a picture of my mom, one of the last visits I had with my mom, and why I like this picture, it's not a very good picture of her because there's a little shade on her face. And I used to be able to touch it up where it could make the face brighter, but can anybody guess why I like this picture?
Because she's happy and she has her Bible with her.
Her Bible.
And I don't know if in her, at this time, if she really was reading it, or if she just felt that the Bible was important to her and she had it there and she's got this big smile on her face. And when I think about my mom, well, one thing I do remember is on Memorial Day, when I was about 9th grade, I think, for a guy who is a surfer and basically lived in the water. On Memorial Day, she said, "You cannot go surfing today." And I remember I disobeyed my mom.
Oh.
I went surfing. And that was in those days before they had a leash. So if you ever watch surfing on TV, they have what they call a leash. It's like a dog leash, only it's rubber, so it has a little elasticity. And but what happens sometimes is, you know, that board stretches that cord, and sometimes that board can come flying back at you. That's not what hurt me though. Some of you don't understand, but the way waves are made is the reef. When there's deep water and that the tide hits the reef, it forms this wave. And where I lived, right across the street, you know, I could walk to that surf spot right across the street. The reef is very shallow. In fact, when it's low tide, sometimes that reef, you can see the reef stick out of the water. Well, if you know anything about coral or reefs, it is very sharp. And it can cut you pretty good. So you can probably guess what happened. I caught a wave and I jumped off and I felt this sharp pain on my foot. So immediately I went to the shore and hobbled on the sand, trying to not get sand in my wound. And that was in the hippie days, you know, and these hippie ladies were on the beach and they had a baby. And so they got a diaper and they wrapped my foot and they rushed me to the ER. Of course, you know what my mom was thinking. I
Told you
you so. And I felt really bad. And I don't know why my mom told me that day I couldn't do it, but if I had listened to my mom, then I would have not experienced that pain. Because I remember laying on my belly in the emergency room with my feet up, and they getting a brush Because if you understand coral, it's a live organism, and it will grow in yours and cause a bad infection. And they were there scrubbing that wound. But that's just one memory I had. But, you know, I know my mom, I got in trouble a lot. I got scolded a lot. But we were not a very well-to-do family. I know there must have been times, and when I think back, that there was probably times when we ate, when my mom didn't. She didn't tell us. But she loved us. There was 6 of us boys. And so if you're a mom, you can really understand maybe having kids, but 6 boys. My oldest brother, he was really into sports. He was all-star quarterback. He played on the basketball team. He was a pitcher on the baseball team. And so by the time it got to me, my mom, when I wanted to go play sports, my mom says, "No, you're not going to play no sports." And now I realize it's because she was tired of seeing my older brother get injured, and so that was probably because she didn't want to see me get hurt. So I ended up joining the band. To make a long story short, it was band that got me to going on a trip to Bible college. And it just kind of dawned on me today, I go, there must have been something that my mom knew that it was going to benefit me in the long run. Now, I'm not a very, gifted musician. I had to really work hard at it. I didn't have a good voice. Some of you remember I said before that I tried to join the choir, and I was going to a Christian school. I tried to join the choir, and they told me that I couldn't join the choir. And how this youth minister told me, "Russell, why don't you just stop playing? You're so awful." But you know, when it was time for me to go to Bible college, it was because of the band traveling. The first time our marching band traveled to the Portland Rose Festival. And that was my way to get to the mainland, because I had no money. And my brother, who just had come back from the Air Force, wanted to go to Bible college. And it just happened that they needed some chaperones, and so that was his ticket to get to the mainland, to California. I don't know where all that came from, because I didn't have plans to say that. But now that I think about something about women and moms, that it's, how do they do it? How is it that they, especially my mom, raising 6 boys, the one that is older than me, who had just passed away a couple years ago, was a paraplegic. He walked on crutches for a long time. My brother, he so much wanted to be one of us that he actually, my friends, they were so gracious. They had him as the quarterback. So he would get his crutch and he would kind of lean on his crutch and catch the ball, and that's all he could do, is pass the ball. But he was pretty good. And then one brother younger than me is mentally retarded with the brain of a 2-year-old. He's about 1.5 years younger than me. So not only raising boys, raising one that is crippled and one that is mentally retarded, I don't know how my mom did it. But I know one thing, that my mom was very dedicated to the Lord. And maybe that's the one thing that got me through my years of maybe you can call it suffering, or my childhood days, my high school days, because she was always there for me. I thought I'd find a whole bunch of poems and just have different people read it. If you like to read, let's see. Don, would you like to read this first one? Can you see that? Can you read that?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Mom, you're a wonderful mother, so gentle yet so strong. The many ways you show you care always make me feel I belong. You're patient when I'm foolish. You give guidance when I ask. It seems that you could do most anything. You're the master of every task. You're a dependable source of comfort. You're my cushion when I fall. You help in times of trouble. You support me whenever I call. I love you more than you know. You have my total respect. If I had my choice of mothers, you're the one I'd select.
Carol, would you read?
God made a wonderful mother, a mother who never grows old. He made her smile of sunshine, and he molded her heart of pure gold. In her eyes she placed bright shining stars, in her cheeks fair rose you see. God made a wonderful mother, and he gave that dear mother to me.
Deb? This is a long one, several slides.
Okay. You are my heart and soul. Thank you for standing by me through thick and thin, for not giving up on me when I didn't win, for your patience when I kept pushing you away, for caring when I said I didn't need you anyway. I am grateful knowing I can count on your strength, ask for your support, and know you'll go to any length. When I lose my way, you help me get back on track. When in pain, your comfort soothes and brings me back. I am lucky because when I was sad, you gave me faith and hope. When I was confused, you taught me how to cope. When I felt I couldn't go on, you carried me long miles. When I didn't believe, you restored my smiles. Mom, thank you for your guidance and the faith you've shown, for giving me a safe place where I have grown, for showing me how to strive. Because of your love, I will survive.
Anita,
I have to squint.
can you see that?
Yeah, for all the things I didn't say about how I felt along the way, for the love you gave and the work you've done, here's appreciation from your admiring son. You cared for me as a little tot when all I did was cry a lot. And as I grew, your work did too. I ran and fell and got black and blue. I grew some more and it didn't stop. Now you had to become a cop. To worry about mistakes I'd made, you kept me in line for my own sake. I got older and the story repeated. You were always there whenever I needed. You guided me and wished me the best. I became wiser and knew I was blessed. So for all the times I didn't say, the love I felt for you each day. Mom, read this so you can always see just how much you mean to me. Mom, thanks for everything.
Okay. Judy?
Please and thanks. You taught me how to wash my face and how to use the potty. You made me eat up all